Unigold to the Dominican Republic was the ability to find those kind of world-class deposits in the country. We think we have tagged into one, certainly at Candelones, where we've now got 2.2 million ounces in measured, indicated, and inferred.
Well, hello and welcome to viewers tuning into Assay TV. We're catching up with Unigold today, a Canadian-based junior natural resource company focused on exploring and developing projects in the Caribbean. And I'm delighted to be speaking with Joseph Hamilton, who is Chairman and CEO of Unigold. Hello, Joe. How are you?
I'm well, Adam. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to tell the Unigold story.
Yes, very much looking forward to it. Okay, let's just start for investors who might be new to Unigold. Can you give a quick top line summary of the company?
Of course. Unigold's been active for about 20 years in the Dominican Republic. It's our only asset, is the Neita Concession. It's about 23,000 hectares in the Dominican Republic. And as I say, we've been active since 2002. We really got serious about the exploration in 2010 when we drilled out about 1.5 million ounces at that time in an indicated, or an inferred category. And then since 2010, we've been working at moving that project forward to try to bring it to fruition. And we're getting close now to starting through our permitting and some of the more advanced exploration efforts.
Excellent. Okay, just thinking about the Dominican Republic, it's obviously well known for Barrick's presence there and proven qualities of gold mines. But tell us what's interesting about the geology in your locations and your assets.
Of course, the island of Hispaniola, which is Haiti is on the west and Dominican Republic is on the east, but it's effectively an old island arc. You can think of Japan or anything along around the Ring of Fire in the Pacific, New Zealand. Same thing. These are volcanoes that were developed along subduction zones and back arc settings, and then the island itself migrated across the Caribbean, or maybe the better way to look at it is South America and North America slid past the island of Cuba and Hispaniola. But that island arc is still it still exists there. Our entire concession covers both the lower terreo, which are the volcanic island arc rocks, mostly basaltic and mafic rocks, as well as the upper terreo, which is the acid volcanics. And the upper terreo is really of interest to gold companies because that's principally where most of the epithermal systems lie in the Dominican Republic. When you move over to Pueblo Viejo, and you mentioned Barrick and Newmont are operating Pueblo Viejo in the country, that's a 60% Barrick, 40% Newmont joint venture. Barrick is the operator. That mine has produced over 15 million ounces, still has about 15 million ounces in resources and about 6 million ounces in reserves, producing about 800,000 ounces a year. It's truly a world-class asset. It's the only operating gold mine in the Caribbean, really. But it is a world-class asset and one of Barrick's tier one assets. That's what initially attracted Unigold to the Dominican Republic, was the ability to find those kind of world-class deposits in the country. We think we have tagged into one, certainly at Candelones, where we've now got 2.2 million ounces in measured, indicated, and inferred. It's open along strike to the east and west and still open to depth. So still the ability to expand that. We're getting new exploration discoveries as we continue drilling. So that's what really got us involved in the island. I think in the future there will be many gold mines operating, as well as copper and zinc mines in the Dominican Republic as well. But right now it's a bit of a startup industry in the country. Really, we're the only active exploration company in the island at this point. And we're getting great success. So I think as our success grows, I think we'll attract other people and more exploration and obviously more discoveries as well.
Yeah, certainly. That's exciting. And so what's the environment like on the ground then? Are you treated as the sort of the newcomer, the new sort of startup company that's got this great opportunity? Is there a lot more work that you have to do with the government for the permits and that kind of thing because they are a slightly newer jurisdiction to exploration?
Well, the mining law has been active since 1972, so it's a 50-year-old mining law, and it's very clear and very transparent. We've been through 4 renewals of our permits in the country over the 20-year period that we've been there, and they've been very smooth. Sometimes not as timely as we would like them, but fairly smooth as long as you do the work. Say what you're going to do, keep up to date on the reporting for the government, and submit the applications when required. Everything gets renewed eventually, and work continues. When it comes time for the mining permits or the exploitation permits, that's a different story. We haven't started with that process yet with the government. We're just starting, at Candelones, which is the main deposit area. We've got a small oxide deposit that's at surface that we intend to put into production. But it's a very small footprint. It's also a very small environmental footprint because we're engineering it as a run-of-mine dump leach. So there's no tailings facilities, there's no waste piles. Fairly easy, we think, to permit from an environmental standpoint. So we're just starting the environmental work now, and we're starting the permitting work with the government, but they've been very receptive to date on what they want to see from us, which is basically feasibility study and environmental report at the same time, and then they have a defined project that they can then start talking about permitting. But one of the things that's clear, that the government in the Dominican Republic has made clear to us, and it's the same anywhere in the world, I think, is without community support, it's unlikely that any permits will be granted for any operations if you don't have the community on side. We started our community consultation efforts 10 years ago, and we stepped them up last year in September, October, November last year. We've got great support from the local communities for this project, principally because we're in an area that doesn't have a lot of alternatives for jobs. We're in the west part of the Dominican Republic, very close to the border with Haiti. It's not terribly industrialized. So people are looking for jobs, they're looking for opportunities, and the community is supportive of getting a mine into this area. And as I said, we'd like to start small with the oxide project, and sort of ease into it. So I think permitting will go fairly smoothly, but we've got to tick the boxes, we've got to do the work, and we've got to submit the reports to the government and then respond to community concerns.
Indeed, very well put. Okay, well, let's come on to the Candelones resource then and get a little bit more detail on some of the promising updates and intersects that you've more recently had then. Could you provide an update on some of the potential resource expansion you've had there?
Yeah, I think, Adam, the easiest way to describe it, what I like to do is I break it into two parts. There's the surface oxide deposit, which is about 130,000 ounces in all categories. It's really in the top 20 meters of soil, and it's a tropical weathering oxide. So, there were underlying sulphides at one point that have been weathered through 25 million years of tropical weather. And that material leaches very well and very easily. And it's, we intend to put in a small heap leach. We've done the preliminary economic assessment on it. It's a capital cost of about $36 million. With all-in sustaining costs of about $745 an ounce, run-of-mine dump leach. So we think that's a fairly compelling story. It's about a 35% after-tax payback. So we think that should be, it's a good way to start. And that small oxide deposit itself, it does a number of things for us. It allows us to train a workforce in the area because there are no trained miners in the area. It also allows us to set up our supply lines and our logistics in country. But thirdly, and most importantly, is it gets us through the permitting and gets us through the exploitation permit phase. Once we've got an exploitation permit, we don't need to apply for that permit again. That's good for 75 years. We would have to apply for environmental permits for the sulphide project, of course, which is a different beast altogether. So the underlying sulphides are the larger project. They're about 2.25 million ounces in all categories. About half of that is measured and indicated. And that's a pit-constrained resource that has an average grade of about 1.6 grams of gold per ton. But within that pit outline, there's some high-grade epithermal mineralization that's running between 5 and 10 grams of gold per ton fairly regularly. And those epithermal feeder veins are fairly discrete. They are subvertical. So they're good mining shapes. So how we mine this and how we extract it and how we control grade in the pit, we haven't done those studies yet with the sulfides. We've simply started or rather we've completed the first resource estimate for it. So the next steps for us on the sulphide project is to start looking at mining plans, try to understand the trade-off between open pit and underground mining, try to look at throughputs and understand how capital works, and then of course to finalize our metallurgy so we know what processing path we're going through. And the metallurgy is well advanced at this point, but that sulphide project, I think we'll have more to say about it in the next 6 to 12 months. In the meantime, we'll start with detailed engineering on the oxide portion of the project, and we've already started the environmental work for the oxide portion. So we'll hope to push that through permitting over the next 12 months as well.
Excellent, lots going on. Okay, so just to recap on the state of financing then, in terms of getting all this work done and achieved. Obviously, you can finance further down the line once you get the smaller project up and running and producing. As you mentioned, that's a very good strategy. But where are you at now in terms of financing this initial build out?
Well, the initial build out, the oxide resource, we're going to need to raise about $20 million in debt and probably $10 to $15 million in equity in order to finance that. We have time to do that. I don't think we'll be looking to put that kind of financing in place until sometime in the middle of next year. The first stages that we need to complete are the detailed engineering on the project so that we can submit that to the government for review, the environmental and social impact assessment so we can submit that to the government for review as well, and we can open it up for community comments. We've started that work and we expect to have that done, as I said, by the middle of next year, such that we can start looking for permitting. So raising those funds is something out in the future.
Fantastic. Well, there's a lot going on certainly, and you've got a very busy conclusion to the year ahead with these projects. So thanks very much for speaking with Assay TV, Joe, and we look forward to catching up on the Unigold story later in the year.
Well, thank you very much, Adam, and I look forward to giving you an update.